Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Rec Tech on YouTube. And I got my buddy Max Armbruster, CEO and founder at Talkpush. He joins us now on Zoom from, I think, Ireland. Max, good to see you again. Remind the audience what you guys do there at Talkpush first.
Hi, Chris. Yeah, good to see you. Talkpush is a recruitment automation platform focused on high volume employment, high volume recruitment. We work with big employers like Accenture, Walmart, McDonald's, 7-Eleven, just to name a few. And we are a distributed, fully remote team with people in 8 different countries.
Nice. And you've been around since when?
I was born a long time ago, and I've been at that very at that job for 10 years. That CEO job for 10 years.
10
It's the
years.
longest job I've ever had by a factor of three. I've stayed in that job 3 times longer than any job before that.
There you go.
And I think I think I'm stuck here for a few more years actually.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's good to reconnect with you. I think you were on the show a number of years ago, and
Yeah.
a lot of things have changed since then. So you got some new voice AI technology you're going to demo today. What was the impetus for it? Give me some of the background on it first.
Well, voice is the future. Voice is the past because voice is how we've always spoken. Before we went to grade school, we spoke to our mothers with voices before we spoke to them through email. And it's also the future. It's the fastest interface. It's the most natural one. It's the one that doesn't force us to sit at desks all day long or bend our necks forward looking at phones. So voice is has always been something I deeply believe in, and I think we've seen in technology a lot of consumer attempts at making voice work. Many have failed in the past, but this time it's going to succeed because this time the technology is as good as human, is as good as talking to a human, very flexible, very nimble, very accessible. So really it's a matter of I've always believed in it. I've always wanted to build it. In fact, 10 years ago when we launched Talkpush, it was initially a voice-based phone interviewing system. So we
Oh, okay.
but
I
we
forgot about that.
but
Yeah.
we dropped it in 2016 to move to chatbots because it was too unnatural to talk
Mhm.
to sort of a
Just the E3.
workflow,
Yeah.
an IVR. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so
So,
that's where the name came from, I guess, right?
pardon?
That's where the name came from, I guess, right?
Talk push. Yeah, yeah. It was let's push an invitation to the candidates so that they can talk to us,
Mhm.
something like that. And maybe you remember, 30 years ago, it was the push to talk communication. It was a communication protocol where you would push and talk, and it was kind of like this idea of asynchronous voice conversation, which was I captured the name. And yeah, so it's go, it's not a new idea.
No, definitely not.
It's just a new world we live in where we can execute on it much better.
Does your new technology have a name or product name? Or
Yeah, we have this we called him, her, they, Sam.
Sam?
Um, yeah. And Sam can be for Samantha, Samuel, Samir, or I don't know. I think I had an acronym for it too, but anyway, it's Sam. Oh, it's also a little wink at Sam Altman because we do use a lot of
Ah,
OpenAI technology.
very cool. Yeah, yeah. Talk about more about that, how to build things like that, if you could, for the audience.
Yeah, it's well, Gen AI is the model, is the technology that allows you to build a conversational bot that where you don't decide ahead of time what questions will be asked, and where you let the Gen AI contextually, and when I say contextually, I mean right now in the moment, decide what to ask next. So if you ask me something, Chris, and I answer the question, but I also answer the next question as part of my answer, then you're not gonna, yeah, you're gonna skip that question basically. Most conversations have that element of unknown, of spur of the moment, of improv. That's how communication works. And until today, the technology couldn't support it. Now it can because you can tell an AI, here's my starting point, here's my end point. I don't care how you get me there. talk to the candidate until you get me there.
Yep.
So that really opens up a lot of possibilities.
So walk us through the use case first before we get to the demo. Like, how does it work?
There are many different use cases. The ones that I'm most interested in are for candidates who apply through Indeed, and you give them a call back immediately. Or a candidate applies through another channel, then they receive an SMS or an email, and it says, "We're ready to talk to you. Click here to receive a phone call."
Ah,
These are the two main use cases. But Gen AI, as you know, has the ability. So AI gets a lot of bad press these days, but it does have some few advantages over humans. One of them that it can read, uh, thousands of pages in a split second. So how you could use that, for instance, is you could ask an AI to serve as an assistant to walk a candidate through an employment contract or through, an employee handbook. You got any questions? Just ask me, talk to me. And I think, that you're not necessarily hiring only truckers and waitresses
yep.
um, for that technology to become useful. Even white collar workers, even senior executives, even PhDs, I think would enjoy the opportunity to talk to an AI that actually knows how to answer questions instead of searching on a help desk.
Yeah.
That's that statement. I think we're going to see a lot of changes happening across all industries. Recruitment's just going to be one of them.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
you mentioned the immediacy effect there in terms of right after applying. And I love that aspect of it because that's just going to keep that person engaged more. It should drive more applies, keep the interest going. Talk about that a bit if you could.
Yeah, there's with it, the hardest part when you're a recruiter, the hardest part when you're making a phone call is kind of situating the candidates because you don't know when you're calling them and you don't know if they remember who they applied to. So it's always like that moment when you call them and you say, "Oh yeah, you sent us your resume last week. Our name is dot dot dot, and we do this." And the candidate sort of has to say they remember you because otherwise it's worse off. So they're like, "Oh yeah." And then so that whole bit, that's not necessary. That's not necessary because if you're applying for jobs and you're getting a phone call within a minute, you don't need to be situated. You know what you did. You just applied for it. You're getting a phone call. So that's perfect. And then the other way is the phone call being triggered. Well, that's very natural. Call me. That's how the new kids. I mean people younger than me, you and me, are communicating. They don't like receiving phone calls. They like to first ask permission. Is it okay if I call you now? Yeah, you can call me now. And only if I give you permission can you call me now. That's how it works now. So I think for those yeah, for the modern world, you need a system that's on demand.
Yeah.
And the last 10 years I've been selling asynchronous, and before me, companies like HireVue, it was all about asynchronous, which is a sort of on demand, but it's on demand, but sort of pre-recorded and a bit clunky and a bit not natural. Now we have an on-demand, which is more natural, which is a phone call, which is easygoing, and a
And it
more
works
human.
24/7. It works when your recruiters are sleeping.
Yeah, if your recruiters are sleeping, then they're at a disadvantage. Also, if your recruiters have not read, the uh, the amount of knowledge that OpenAI has on its latest models is the equivalent of 3,000 years of human literature, and technical documents. So we can ask the AI to interview you to be a nuclear physicist or to be, a cabin crew attendant or anything in between, and it'll know how to prompt you. It'll know how to investigate you a little bit further because it has that access to all that knowledge. So the recruiter is at a disadvantage there. The recruiter won't be able to read a resume within a split minute and a job description. And I think what is the secret sauce is that the recruiter is a human, so the recruiter is a bit impatient because his time is precious.
Mhm.
And if a recruiter is impatient with a candidate, bad things can happen.
Good points, Max. Well, let's start the demo. How do you want to work this here?
Well, I'm gonna share my screen so
Okay.
that people can see what I'm doing, but I'm also gonna talk over it until Sam takes over, and then Sam is gonna call you on your phone, which means that I'll shut up and let you and Sam talk. It
Okay.
also means you need your phone on speakerphone so we can
Yes, I'll do
hear
that. Yeah.
Sam. And I need to ask you, I've got a few jobs here
Mm.
listed on the screen, but I can ask Sam to interview for one of those, or we can ask Sam to interview for any job that you can think of. So, up to you. Do you have a job just for the sake of this demo? Can
I
be
do.
anything.
I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I would like to be the brand ambassador for Talkpush.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay, well, I don't have a job description ready on hand for that one.
Oh,
So
okay.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, give me a JD
How about
for,
chief product officer or something like that?
okay, Chief Product Officer slash brand ambassador for Talkpush. Okay, we're gonna copy paste this job description right here in this job. So Chief uh, Product Officer Talkpush. And we're going to copy this job description as it comes on. Location. We don't want you to relocate. We'll put in Connecticut.
Sounds good.
All right. Submit. So this is the job. And as people can see, it was created from scratch. So this is not, nothing was pre-recorded here.
Yep.
And now I'm going to ask Sam to interview you. So I've got your resume on file here. Don't ask me how. It's got your phone number in it. Let me see if I have that here. Yeah. Just checking if your phone number is correct. Yeah, 203
Yep, that's
something
right.
something something. And we're gonna interview you for the Chief Product Officer. So off we go. Submitted. So expect a phone call if this works
Okay.
in the next 30 seconds. And
This is exciting.
and this I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna mute myself when the phone call begins.
I'm getting those
So
interview
yes.
butterflies, Max. Here it comes. Okay. Palo Alto, California. Okay. Slide answer, speaker. Hello.
Hi, I'm Sam, an AI recruiter from Talkpush. Am I speaking to Chris Russell?
Yes, you are.
I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak with you. I'm calling. You're welcome, Chris. I'm calling you because you applied for the Chief Product Officer position at Talkpush.
I did.
How are you today?
Not bad.
Glad to hear that, Chris. Do you remember applying for the Chief Product Officer role at Talkpush?
Yes, I do.
Would you like me to read? If you're ready, I'd like to take a few minutes to learn more about you. Do you have a few minutes to continue the conversation?
Yes, go ahead.
Before we proceed, I just want to let you know that this conversation will be recorded for recruitment purposes and to analyze the information. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Thank you, Chris. Now let's dive into the interview. Can you elaborate on your experience with developing and executing product strategies in previous roles, particularly at RecTech Media?
Well, I've built a lot of different recruiting technology over the years. They call me the mad scientist of online recruiting, in fact. So I've been experimenting with all kinds of talent technologies over the years, from job boards to mobile apps to websites, things like that.
That's fascinating. Sounds like you have a rich background in recruiting technology. Being called the mad scientist of online recruiting is quite a unique title. I'm excited to learn more about your experience. Let's move on to the next question. How do you plan to align Talkpush's product strategy with its business goals based on your past experiences?
Well, I didn't know more about the business goals, I guess, but we're definitely going to go to the market with really cool product and work with the CEO to find out what his business needs are and align those to the product, I guess.
Let's ask the AI if he's got some thoughts on the business goals.
Yeah, what are the business goals, Sam?
No worries, Chris. I can give you a brief overview of Talkpush's business goals. As a leading recruitment automation platform, our mission is to transform the hiring process by making it faster, more efficient, and more personalized. Our business goals are centered around driving innovation, growth, and customer satisfaction. Now let's move on to the next question. Can you share specific examples of how you have led cross-functional teams to drive product innovation and improvement?
Well, I've been more of a solo practitioner over the years, so I haven't worked a lot with teams, to be honest with you, Sam.
Solo practitioner, you've likely had to wear many hats and be self-sufficient.
I have, yes.
While leading cross-functional teams is an important aspect of the chief product officer role, it's not uncommon for professionals to have diverse backgrounds and strengths. Let's move on to the next question. Given the importance of market trends and customer feedback, how have you utilized these elements to refine product roadmaps in your past roles?
Say that again.
Given the importance of market trends and customer feedback, how have you utilized these elements to refine product roadmaps in your past roles?
It's really about listening to the customers and kind of, taking cues from them. I believe in talking with customers constantly with any kind of talent technology product and, working with them to find out their pain points and help solve those.
Maybe Christian, you want to ask the AI if it liked a part of your resume.
Hey, Sam, was there a part of my resume that you liked?
Nice try, Chris. Let's focus on the interview for now, and I'll make sure to get back to you with questions or comments on you. Not quite yet, Chris. I still have a few more questions to ask.
All right.
Continue.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Any potential gap? How would you address any potential gaps in experience with managing a larger scale product lifecycle from ideation to launch, as required for the CPO role at Talkpush?
That's a tough one, Sam. I need to think about that more.
Understandable, Chris. That's a thoughtful question. Take your time. If you need a moment to collect your thoughts, I'm happy to wait.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
I think we've covered all the questions I had for you, Chris.
Oh,
Thank you
no.
for taking the time to talk with me.
All right, Sam. Can I expect to hear back from the company soon, or?
Yes, Chris. A human recruiter will reach out to you as soon as we have news about your application. We appreciate the time you took to speak with me today.
One more question, Sam.
I'm a guy, Chris, but no worries. Go ahead and ask your question.
What's it like to work for the CEO of Talkpush?
I think you meant Talkpush, Chris. From what I've gathered, the CEO of Talkpush is a visionary leader who is passionate about transforming the recruitment industry. As a CPO, you would have the opportunity to work closely with the CEO to drive product strategy and innovation. But I can provide more information about the company culture and value. Would you like to hear more about that?
No, that's good for now. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Chris. It was a pleasure talking with you today.
All
I
right.
wish you the best of luck in your job search.
Thanks,
Have
Sam.
a great day.
All right. That was pretty impressive, man.
Well, it wasn't. There were a couple of bumps on the road.
Yeah. No, but look, for a simple screening call, for many kinds of jobs, that should do the trick. I mean,
Yeah, and this one is this one was with a job description that obviously it took the job description quite literally, and generated some questions based on it, which is difficult to do with a chief product officer.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to do with a transactional job, but if we had to do something like a chief product officer and we wanted to do an interview around it, we'd probably do more like a case study, say, how would you respond to this situation and how would you do that, or dig deeper into past experiences. So we can adapt it, but
Well,
it's
if in the
a
real
window to
world,
the possibilities.
in the real world, if there was a chief product officer job listing, it would have more details there around what to ask me, right?
Yeah, yeah, and actually, one of the features of the software is that it does recommend some future questions to ask. And in fact, maybe we should look at your results. I
No,
have I have a summary from Sam right here.
I don't think I passed,
Uh,
but yeah.
no, you didn't pass. You got a 2 out of 5. I think that's a bit harsh for the self-proclaimed mad scientist online recruitment. But it did recognize your substantial experience in innovative thinking, but understanding alignment of business goal, lead cross-functional teams, and not enough examples.
So just explain this page here for the audience. What am I looking at here?
Right, right. Well, we got a report as, basically within seconds of you hanging up the phone. And we're looking at the summary from Sam, which has the summary of the interview and some highlights. So Sam is highlighting the fact that you described yourself as the mad scientist of online recruiting, and that you're a solo practitioner, so not leading cross-functional teams. And anyway, that kind of stuff. A bunch of other notes.
Yeah, very cool. I like the whole scorecard there. That's pretty nice. It's a nice summary of. It's easy to read too, which is nice.
It's not
Not just a bunch of text.
there was no configuration needed, so if you think about, oh, how am I going to use this technology for any of my positions. One thing that I think slowed down the adoption of technology of this sort, meaning interviewing technology in the past, is that for every job you had to spend more time configuring it than it would to just call somebody. And you'd be like, oh well, I'm gonna eliminate 80% of people on the resume, and then I'm going to interview them. I'm gonna have 10 or 20 candidates to interview. It's I might as well just get started, kind of thing, as opposed to as opposed to in this case, all we had to do is like put a job description on a resume, and off it went, and it gave me a summary with highlights and notes. So there's no effort, there's no real effort needed at the start of the process. So if you have a diverse group of talent that you're hiring, like 2 sales guys, 1 engineer, and one operations person, you don't have to spend too much time thinking about it. You just send it to Sam. Sam does the rest. It may not be exactly what you want in terms of how you would have done the interview, but over time you can teach it. So what we're already running interviews for a few companies now, and when they disagree with the questions that were asked, or with the notes that Sam took, or I wanted Sam to be a little bit more pushy or whatever, it just tells us, next time, do it this way. And we build that into the prompts that go inside the account. So each account has a set of prompts so that we can make Sam a little bit more attuned to your preferences.
Yep. As a candidate, I'm trying to think. I think I like this as a candidate, number one, because of the immediacy. It knew that it was going to, it told me it was going to be there's a human recruiter involved later in the process, which is nice. What are candidates? Have you heard from candidates at all in terms of what's the feedback been? I'm just really curious.
The candidates, the trick is to get it to get off to a good start. So again, it's about contextualizing it. So we've had on nothing but good feedback so far. We listen to the recordings one by one as they're coming in, because we realize this is new technology, and we don't want to we want to be watchful. And it was a little bit, we had some bad calls at the beginning where the calls would come out of the blue and the candidate wasn't expecting it. And like I said, that's the hardest part of being a recruiter, is when you're trying to situate the call for a candidate that's not expecting a call. But if they're expecting it, they roll with it, and they're very happy and fine. And our design is going to be focused on them hanging up the phone and feeling like, okay, this AI gets me.
Hmm.
Uh, this AI, it understood what I said and it gets me. And, if I don't get the job, well, at least, the AI is going to do a good job of representing me.
Yeah. I could really see this being useful for follow-up as well, Max, like keeping the candidate in the loop in terms of the
Mm.
process. Is that part of the roadmap here? You could tell me that's true.
Yeah, the we have a client customer going live next week where the call is going to be the day before they start work, to ask them if they've got any last minute questions, or to just kind of like take the butterflies off the stomach, and make sure that they're ready to go, because they suffer 30% dropouts and ghosting on the day of.
Yeah. How about rejection calls? Could you build a rejection call into this as well, like to make sure you close the loop on those who don't get hired?
We do have requests for exit interviews. No, we haven't built rejection calls yet because, I guess sending a message or WhatsApp or an email
Better
usually
way.
does the trick. But you know, yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the next level.
Yeah, there's lots
Uh,
of aspects of the hiring process you could use this for, I think. But
but I think that most employers would steer clear of that,
yeah, you're
because
probably right. Yeah.
you don't want to give too many reasons for rejections, because that's
Yeah,
kind of opening the a can of worms.
yeah, definitely. Well, this is pretty cool, Max. Appreciate the demo today.
Thanks
What's
for sitting through it.
yeah, what's the first of all, excellent job. I think, maybe it's not perfect yet, but hey, this is where we're going. I mean, where do you in 10 years is everybody being interviewed by, a voice like this?
There's an element of fairness about it, which is we didn't speak about, but I think if you're gonna work for a large company and you want to get a fair chance of being hired, you would rather trust a very powerful AI than to trust a single individual. I think most people would feel that way, and those so I think that will accelerate adoption at some point in this technology's journey. But whether it's going to cover all jobs, I don't know. I'd be surprised if it does anything less than 80% of the jobs in the total employment market within 10, 20 years. Yeah, I mean I'm giving myself a long long time range, but yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Uh,
appreciate your time, Max, and tell the audience where to go to learn more about Talkpush.
We're signing up our customers already, our initial customers. We've got some customers are using this for hiring sales reps and customer service reps, and different jobs that require communication skills, because the fact that it's on the phone does give it that edge. And you can sign up on talktosam.ai, and you will get your first 20 interviews for free. And you can sign up for free and start interviewing people today. It'll take you 5 minutes to set up your account, and you can have Sam start calling your candidates today.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. No need to
um,
schedule a demo or wait. You can go right in today and use it.
no, if you're a recruiter and you have to interview people today and that bores the hell out of you, sign up now, and within 5 minutes, you'll take all your problems away.
Awesome, Max. Well, appreciate your time and thanks again.
Thanks, Chris.